The outcome develops a process, but only if you're obedient to your personal development. More than 30 years ago, I received a prophetic word. Plus I had a dream. Plus friends gave me scriptures from people all over the world in a certain time span that I would write books and books and books. The one thing that was ever said about was my mum used to say it. Well, Graham never went to school. He just used to meet the other kids on the way home because I never could handle education. I made sure that I got thrown out of most lessons. And then I would go to the library and study and read up, and I passed exams that nobody ever taught me for, which was amusing. When they were reading out exam results and I was in the top 5%, that was fun. But I had this word about, writing books. I don't know anything about writing a book. I don't even know what am I gonna, me write a book? Seriously? I don't even know if I know enough words to write a book. And so I'm talking to one of my mentors and I said, how on earth am I gonna write a book? He said, well, don't think about that. Why don't you think about writing letters? Do what? Think about writing letters. Who am I going to write to? You got lots of friends. Yeah, I've always got lots of friends. Why don't you write to your friends? What am I going to write? Whatever the Lord tells you to write. So I started thinking about that. And I started writing letters of encouragement. All my friends were going, man, that was a really great letter. I really appreciate that. My mentor said, whatever you write, make a copy of. Put it in a file. And then I got to a place where he said, why don't you write something stronger and bigger? But like what? Well, why don't you ask the Lord, what is the area of their life they're struggling in? And why don't you write about the victory that belongs to them? And this is where he's one of the wisest people I know. What he was doing was he was getting me to think from the future back to the present in that writing. And so I would start to think about my friends and where they were stuck. And then I would think beyond that to what's their place of victory. And then, because we fight from victory, not towards it, right? So then I went, how do I bring that victory into here so they're not stuck anymore? They've actually got something to work with. So I began to do this series of letters that I would send out and keep copies of. And then word began to spread and people said, write to me, write to me. I'm thinking, I'm going to spend all my life being an agony aunt, in the church. And so I went back to my mentor and I said, this has created a problem. He said, no, it hasn't. I said, yes, it flipping well has. I'm the one with the problem, not you. Which is as close to saying, shut up, as I dared, because he was almost like the fourth member of the Trinity to me. I said to the Lord, I think he's more scary than you. And the Lord said, I think so too. But that's why I gave him to you. And he said, it's not a problem, it's a bigger possibility. And I started back and think, how does that work? He said, well, there are no problems with just this. So it's a bigger possibility. He said, so stop writing letters and start writing articles that you can just send to loads of people. So now suddenly this big problem is now become nothing. Because instead of writing 100 letters, I'm now writing one article and sending it to like 600 people. I like this idea. I think I'll keep you around as a mentor. In other words, mentor and torment are almost the same. That's my excuse and I'm sticking to it. So I started writing articles and then I went to writing classes and I wrote letters, I wrote articles for friends who are in difficulty. And I never related to a problem and how to fix it. I started with victory and I brought it back into the circumstance because victory is an outcome. And I wanted people to start with how God saw them winning. Yeah. And then it grew. And now here we are, 20 odd years later, 30 years later. And I think I've written around 22 books. Here's the thing. It's not about that. It's about this. Here's the thing. I had a word from the Lord that I was going to write books and books and books, and those books would go all around the world and they would do all kinds of stuff. But here, I didn't have the schooling to do that. I never had any kind of opportunity to do anything like that, and I had no idea how to do it. But what I learned from my mentor was, you better start thinking like a writer. You better start seeing things. You better start, if you see things, you can write about them and then go to class and learn how to use words and for goodness sake, buy a thesaurus. And so it started with just some partnership here. And now, even the things I'm writing right now, I'm writing from a completely different level because the level is increasing. But I understand why God is the author of everything. And I love having a relationship with that author because we have it in common. He's the author of everything and I'm an author too. So we have that in common. And now our partnership is in a completely different space. What happened? God brought the future into the present. He said, this is what you look like to me. So I'm going to talk to you how I see you. You're at this level. I see you at this level. Why don't you be the one that comes up? Because I'm not coming down. I'm not coming down in my estimation of you. I want you to rise up so that you become the person that I see now.